Does time seem to simply slip through your fingers? Do you reach the end of the day just wondering, where on earth did my time go? If that is the case, I would like to share with you today 3 really great productivity tools that will help you feel like you take control back of your day and you move your family in the right direction. Hi, I am Marcy Amaro, and I am here to give you the tools and strategies that you need to feel empowered to design the family and the life that you love. Picture this with me. You're trying to get ready in the morning, and everything around you is just chaotic. The kids are not getting out of bed, nobody's cooperating, the breakfast burned, you can't seem to put anything in place, and when you finally walk out the door, it's already 10 minutes later than you intended, and now you're frantic, overwhelmed, and frustrated before the day even begins. Does that sound familiar to anybody? I know I've been there many times, and what that led me to was trying to discover productivity tools, things that we could put in place that would help minimize, reduce, and even eliminate those days in which you just feel like you can't get anything moving, like you are just spinning the wheels and not moving forward. So are you ready? I would love to share those with you. And here's the first one. As much as we might hate to think of this, every family needs to have certain routines in place. And routines are actually the grease that allows the wheels to spin properly. They are this thing that allow you to operate in automatic without really having to think through anything, because it is so consistent, because it is so ingrained in what we do, in the DNA of our family and how we operate, that they allow us to move forward. So I would suggest that in order to ease the tension, especially as you start in the morning getting ready for work, or as you're trying to put everybody to bed at night, or as you're trying to get things done, I suggest that you put in place at least 2 routines to begin with. The first one is set up your morning routine. Make sure that you sit with your family and you lay out, okay, here's what's going to happen. I know in my family, for example, in the morning, I get up first and I start breakfast. While I'm getting breakfast ready, my husband is getting ready to go to work. So he is in the bathroom using things over there, and I'm over here in the kitchen doing what I need to do. Once I finish setting up breakfast, I wake up my daughters, or I make sure that they're awake. We all have breakfast together, and then after having breakfast, I go and get ready. The girls go get ready, and my husband goes to the kitchen to finish up lunches or anything else that might need to be done in the kitchen. By doing it this way, by kind of tiering who uses the kitchen, who uses the bathroom, when is everything going to happen, we have minimized the butting heads and the being in each other's ways and the you go here and you move there, and it has really smoothed our mornings. That is not to say that we don't have chaotic mornings every once in a while. I think everybody does, but it has really helped. So if you can sit down with your family and kind of lay out, okay, who needs to do what when? What is everything that we need to have done before we can walk out the door? What are the things that each of us can help with? And what can each of us be responsible for? And lay out a routine and then practice it. Give yourselves a little bit of time and a little bit of grace while you get in the groove of that particular routine. But make sure that you have one set and you have talked about it. And you will see that it will smooth how you operate and how quickly you can get out the door. The second routine you should establish in your family is what Gretchen Wagner, one of my mentors, taught us to call the setup routine. What a setup routine is really simple. We have already talked in the other video where we discuss how to prepare for online learning. We talked about the importance of everybody having their set, designated, sacred workspace or study space. As you set up that space, make sure that that is a permanent place where everybody works, or where each person works or studies. Now, what the setup routine entails is really simple. The second you walk in the door, or the second you realize that something's coming up that you need to get done, you go to that designated workspace and you lay out everything that you need in order to get the work done. So let's say that you are coming back from a day of work and your kids have homework to do and you have to finish working on a project. So you each go to your designated work areas and you lay out everything you need. Computer, paper, writing utensils, books that the kids might need for the homework, anything at all that might be necessary to complete this task, you lay it out and you set it up where you're going to need it. What does that do? Well, first of all, anytime you walk past that designated area, you're going to see that everything is laid out for work. And it's going to bug you if you're like me and most people. It's going to be like a little bee buzzing in your ear, right? It's going to bother you every time you see it. So in order to eliminate that distress, you're going to go ahead and get it done. And the second thing it does is it reduces procrastination because it allows you to have everything in place. Because does this resonate with you? Have you ever done this? I know I have. You sit down to work and suddenly, ooh, I don't have a pencil. You get up to look for a pencil and next thing you know, 15 minutes have passed. You sit down and you're like, oh, the pencil's not sharpened. You go off to look for a pencil sharpener. And again, 10, 15 minutes have passed. By the time you actually start working on the task, you have wasted half an hour, 45 minutes on irrelevant things that you could have prevented if you had everything laid out and set up. So if you take 5-10 minutes, as soon as you walk in the door or as soon as you realize that this needs to be done, and you set up the area where you're going to do it, and you make sure that you have everything you need right there, you minimize that procrastination and you maximize the use of your time. So the second productivity tool is sleep and self-care. Experts are saying that lack of sleep is the equivalent to smoking 20 or 30 years ago. It's having the same effect on health and productivity and just being able to be energetic and doing the things that we need. Plus, I don't know if you know this, but the effects on the body of not sleeping enough are very, very similar to those of being drunk. So when you don't take enough sleep, when you don't sleep enough and your sleep is not restful enough, you end up not being productive, wasting time, not being able to focus, feeling like your head is all over the place, and you just waste time because you simply don't have the energy and the focus that you need in order to do the things that you need to do. So I know it's really hard to set up sleeping schedules, especially for teens. And we will have another video in which we discuss why this is so difficult. But if you have a bedtime routine, and I know that probably sounds ridiculous when you have teenagers, but trust me on this. It's not necessarily that they are going to go to sleep, but you have a set time. You decide as a family what you think is most appropriate. You decide as a family. Is it 9 o'clock? Is it 8:30? Is it 9:30? But make sure that you have a set time when you put everything away and everybody retreats to their bedroom and where they're going to sleep for the night. Now, once they're there, be a little flexible. I mean, with my teenager, I know our routine time, and yes, don't yell at me, our routine bedtime is 8:30. I don't expect her to go to bed at 8:30, but she goes to her bedroom at 8:30. And then she has a period of time in which it's quiet, it's just her. So she can use that if she has homework that she still needs to finish, or if she has other projects that she wants to work on, if she wants to read or watch a show, whatever she wants to do. But she knows that there is a bedtime, and she needs to be turning everything off and getting ready to lights out in bed by 9:30. So she has about an hour in there that is her time, that she can do whatever she wants with that particular space of time. That's discretionary time for her. And then talk to your kids about the importance of putting away devices. If your kids have a hard time with that, you might need to lay out a contract in which you establish, okay, you want the device, then these are the rules that we are going to agree upon, but make sure they understand why the rules are in place. And tell them, blue light in the room makes it hard for us to really rest. And having that light in front of you so close to bedtime makes it harder to settle down and go to sleep. So tell them, turn your device off at least half an hour before you really want to go to sleep. If you have a hard time, hand it to me. We'll put it away. We'll have it in a place where it doesn't bother anybody, and you can have it back in the morning. But make sure that you establish these routines so that everybody can get the rest that they need, because otherwise there's no way your mind, your body, and your spirit are going to be in optimal conditions for doing what needs to be done the next day. Now, I hope up to this point you have realized that there are some things that you can do to take control back of your family's time so that you don't feel at the end of the day like you are wasting your days, like your time is slipping through your fingers and you have no clue what's happening with it. If you are finding value in this video and if you like this kind of content, I would invite you to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications. I come on here at least twice a week with new tools, strategies, and tips to help all of us design the families and the lives that are set to success. So finally, the last productivity tip I am going to share with you is to have a family schedule. You heard that. Have a family schedule. Have a calendar in which you can post and put in all of the activities for everybody in the house, because if your family is anything like mine, each of you has a lot of different things at a lot of different times, pulling time and space in a lot of different directions. And what tends to happen is that we underestimate how long something is going to take, and we end up overestimating how much time we have available to do certain tasks. So if you have a family calendar, a place where you schedule everything that needs to do, then everybody can clearly see how much time they have left for studying, for doing homework, for completing a project, discretionary time for pursuing hobbies or activities that they like to do. But if you don't have a collective calendar where you put everybody's activities and everybody's schedule in, chances are something's going to slip through the cracks. You're going to forget that somebody has something at a certain time. But if you write it all down, if you have it in a place where it's accessible, then you can plan your days and your weeks accordingly, because you know exactly what chunks of time need to be blocked off for certain things. Here's a tool that would make this so easy. Google Calendar is an amazing free tool that you can use to help you do this, and you can share it with everybody in your family as long as they have email. If you have little ones that don't have email, then you do probably want to make it a visible calendar that hangs somewhere. But if everybody already has a phone or a tablet or a device and they have an email account, you can share Google Calendar with all of them, and you can actually lay out beginning and end time, so you see the chunk, the block of time colored, and you know that something's going on during that time. And the great thing about doing this is that each person can add their own activities to the calendar without necessarily having to stop and tell you, oh mom, we need to, or oh dad, we need to add this to the calendar. So they can each just go in there and see if there's a conflict. The calendar is going to tell them, and they can see what's going on and how much time they actually have available for the things they need to do, and then we can all plan accordingly. So there you have it, 3 simple productivity tools that will help you start taking control back of your family's time. Make sure that you have those routines set in place, that you have talked about them, that you have practiced them, and that you all agree to follow through with them. Make sure that you are each establishing a nice sleeping schedule so that you can feel rested and energized and have the focus to do things in the period of time that matches the activity, and you don't have to waste time because you can't focus. And finally, make sure you have a family calendar where you schedule everything so that you can fully see what needs to be done when, and you can see those chunks of time that are taken and the ones that are available for the activities that you need to complete. I hope you have found value in this. If you have, please share this video with someone that you think might benefit from its content, and make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications, because I come on here at least twice a week to share new information, tips, strategies, and tactics with you to help design a family that is set for success. I'm Marcy Amaro, and I will see you on the next video.